Hello YouTube world, Mac Daddy 1911A1 here with the Shade Tree Survivalist. It's going to be part 2 of applying camouflage. And of course in the video yesterday we're dealing specifically with firearms, but this can work across the board in many different ways. Number one, you need to find the correct colors, okay, for the application, and primer can also be used because it's ultra flat. And mostly we've got Rust-Oleum, but I've also found it in Krylon. A lot of these stick to plastics. You want to make sure if you have the nylon, the plastic stocks and so forth, that you have paint that will actually adhere to it. Second thing is you want to degrease whatever it is. Doesn't matter if it's a firearm, automobile, whatever. You want to make sure it's degreased. No fingerprints. The oils on your skin is bad. You can use plain old rubbing alcohol, same as you would clean a wound or a scrape or whatever. How y'all like the shirt? Nice, isn't it? This is one of the shirts that Jimmy gave me, which is the shirt that Jimmy gave me. The Deplorable Infidels of America. Check out their Facebook page. But you want to make sure it's very clean. Now, certain types of carburetor cleaner and parts cleaners, brake cleaners, you can use, but some of them you cannot. It'll actually dissolve the damn plastic, so you got to be careful. Rubbing alcohol is safe on anything. Just get you a terry cloth, saturate it, and just clean everything. No grease, no oil, no fingerprints, no silicone. You got to get all that crap off. So you want to make sure it's absolutely clean. Second thing, or the next thing, good high quality tape. Standard masking tape, blue painter's tape, the frog tape. I think that's what this stuff's called. Jimmy got this to replace the tape I'd used on his rifle. I'm doing this on my laptop, so the video and the audio may not be great, but a couple of pointers. Okay, let's see. I'll set the rifle up here. Let me pause this damn thing. Okay, and whether you've got sunshade or whatever, it doesn't matter. I guess to be practical about it, let's pull the sunshade off this thing right quick. All you got to do to cover your optics to prevent paint from getting on there is to take your tape, and we're going to just use this blue because I'm about out of it, and it works pretty good. All you got to do is tear a piece that is a little wider than the hole. Pull it tight in your fingers, starting at either the top or the bottom. Just apply it like that, okay? Don't wrap the sides, okay? Next piece, same deal. Pull it tight, overlapping it, okay? Make sure it's stuck, and then just lightly push the two pieces of tape together like that. Right on down the line to the very bottom, and you want to make dang sure it is stuck, and then push across there like that, and you see the tape adheres to the next piece. And for safety's sake, because you do not want to ruin your optics, even on a cheap scope, if you get paint on there, you have ruined it. Just overlap it again. Same thing. Press down on the ring of the hole and then lightly press there. Okay. Now that's how you do the ends of your scope. The rifle muzzle. Let me pause the video. Okay, just get a short section of cleaning rod and a bore mop. Okay, take that and just stick it into the freaking muzzle. You may have seen it in the some of the photographs, but gently insert it into the muzzle. Boom, you got your rifling and so forth, and in the into the muzzle. It's blocked so you can get the flash suppressor. You want to be careful about paint buildup inside any muzzle brake or flash suppressor you have. Like on Betsy, my M14M1A, the muzzle device has been bored out, so it stops this phenomenon called the raindrop deflection, which is a phenomenon they noted at the national matches. You want to make damn sure you don't bang up the end of that, your muzzle, your thread, your rifling. If you do that, it's ruined. Okay, it is ruined. And even though I got heat going in here, I got my fire going, it is still chilly out here this morning. I'm gonna put my jacket back on. I just wanted to give some free advertising. It says, "We the people here, the American Eagle, Bald Eagle, the Iwo Jima Memorial, World War II Iwo Jima Memorial," and of course on the back it's got the flag, but it's chilly out here. I gotta put this damn jacket on. Excuse me. But yeah, you want to be very careful when you put that in there that you don't bang it around. You don't want to damage the rifling of your barrel. If you do that, you just destroyed the accuracy. So you want to be very careful. Now, if you don't have a muzzle device, you can just do the exact same thing with the muzzle of the barrel as you did with the scope, or you're going to do with the scope. And then, like for your numbers and so forth, just tear off enough. Say for this 5 yards here, you just tear off just enough to cover what it is you want to cover. And that's it. I mean, there's nothing to it. You can see the piece of tape. Same thing around here. And you can take your tape. I mean, this is not rocket science here, but you can take your tape and gently tear it and make it uneven and so forth. And then you can cover stuff up. You can use little skinny sections. Of course, if you want to get real in depth with it, you can always take a piece and lay it on a piece of cardboard, or wax cardboard would be best, and then take a knife or a razor knife, and you can split it and cut it real evenly, or whatever the case may be. The painting technique. Okay, you want to get several light layers. You don't want to bore down on it and make it run and so forth. You want, maybe a foot away from it, and a little overspray from color to color helps everything blend in real nice. But like I said yesterday in that video, you start out, you paint the entire rifle the base color, and here it's dark brown and light brown, and I got carried away with it a little bit and I added a little bit more green than I wanted on this particular rifle. But we do have browns, we do have reddish brown, we have tan, we have light green and dark green, and then dark brown. And the tan gives the appearance of the sun coming through the trees, okay, or lighter leaves or rock or dirt or sand, whatever the case may be. It's not that hard. Anything you don't want paint on that is a pain in the damn neck to tape, just grease it. It's just some wheel bearing grease and wipe on it. But you got to make sure where you do want paint that you wipe all this off. Absolutely, you got to get it all off, and then you got to go back with alcohol or something to lift it out of the pores of the steel. Otherwise, the paint will just come right off. Now, if this is going to be something to be displayed, to be pretty, to blow sunshine up your own hind end, get a professional to do it. Okay? But if it's like us, it's a working rifle. It scratches and all, that will add to the effect, not detract. It will add to the effect of camouflaging the weapon. Like I said, this is just some of the techniques. Absolutely want to make damn sure the muzzle is covered some way, shape, or form to prevent anything from getting into the rifle. And be careful when you're doing it, just like when you're cleaning the bore. You want to make damn sure you're not dinging up the rifling or the crown of the muzzle. So you got to be very careful with that. Absolutely got to make sure the optics are covered 100%. All your numbers and so forth will still be readable, and mechanically everything will move and so forth. Now look, I painted the bolt. You can see it. All right, here's the bolt. Works perfectly fine. And yes, indeed, it is empty. And the bore obstruction is out of there anyway, but fires just fine. So we did not impede the action. There's no paint down in the magazine. There's no paint on the working sections of the bolt. The lugs and so forth were all protected. And the light in here really sucks, but the lock and lugs and all, they're absolutely clean still. Just a portion of the bolt that is exposed when it is locked got paint on it. And that's the thing, if you're painting a semi-automatic rifle, make sure the bolt's closed and locked. If you got like an AR-15, close the dust cover. Absolutely make sure you don't paint down in the bore. Damn sure don't paint down in the breech. Okay, do not. I mean, if it gets into the breech, into the chamber, you're going to end up with a stuck shell, and it's going to break either your extractor, or it's going to rip off the case, the bottom of the case, and you may have a hell of a time getting it out of there. All your numbers, like I said, just tear off small pieces of tape, just big enough to go over that. Now, let's talk about the sunshade and this little device. This works great if the light is shining on it. However, in certain conditions, it's not going to be that advantageous. We have something else. And the damn thing, camouflage netting. You can make this yourself. You can use that same burlap. Okay, you can buy this here all day long at sporting goods stores. But you can take that camo burlap and you can make your own. And I mean, that's what this is. It's made as a blind, but you can see through it. I mean, this is one way of doing it until you get to where you're going. Once you get where you're going, if you're going to be set up, this is a much better idea. Now, of course, the blue's not going to be there. That'll break up the outline of the rifle and that big black hole looking in at the front. So what we'll do for a quick demonstration, let me pause. I'm going to have to let it run while I do this. All you got to do to take this off is to pull this straight out, and it's just a piece of square cloth I stuck in there, and I used a little bit of bright paint to break up that big black hole. You would not want to use this and this at the same time. It would cut down on the light transmission so much that it would be very difficult to see through your scope. So you just pull this off and so forth. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back on. This will be just for demonstration purposes only. Put it back on there. That's just a sunshade. Okay. And let's say we're shooting at beyond 200 yards. So we're going to set it on infinity. And we'll open that. So you're prone, okay? There you go. Of course, I've got that thing set at 200 yards, so I guarantee you I'm not aiming at the camera itself. And of course, you pull that back over your head. There you go. And you can move your bolt, work it gently and slowly. And that's the point. Okay? It's more than one way to skin a cat. Use your freaking brain. That's the whole point. Okay, my videos I put up is not to say this is the only way. This is, or that this is the best way. This is a way, my way. And I try to keep an open mind on finding even better ways to do it. And that's one thing about that paint. It makes it a little difficult to get those caps back on there. But that's the thing. It distorts. You know, you throw that camouflage net over there. And here's the deal. You can still see because the net is so close to the scope. But it helps break up that outline. You see? Remember what I said. Paint on the rifle or your gear, your automobile, is simply a base coat. You've got the shape of your automobile sitting right there in the woods, boom. That ain't going to conceal a damn thing from someone who's trained observer. Okay, any hunter worth his salt that gets a deer every year, or a hog, or a bear, they train themselves to look for that shape and see the deer, not just the woods, because of their camouflage just from nature. But yeah, more than one way to do the deal. And I guarantee you I'll forget something else, because I actually wanted to include this in that video, but I'll make it this a short, sweet video. Just flat, tape up your ends. And here's the deal, like with the sunshade. Okay, I was showing you guys this yesterday. Let me do this. Let me show it again. I taped up this, just the scope. Here, I didn't tape up this. I painted it inside and out. Okay, see how bright it is in there? Maybe that's a little bit better, but you can see. Okay, inside and out, that's the sunshade, and then the scope end, and then this little piece of, all I did, it's like I was saying, man, this thing is tight now, I got it on there. Just took a square piece of that burlap, stuck it in there, took the sunshade, pushed in there, boom. Okay, that's all I did. Nothing to it. So it's not difficult, but you know, you got 30 minutes, 45 minutes of prep work to get the rifle ready to paint, so you don't ruin the optics, you don't ruin the muzzle, you don't lock down the freaking the action, whatever the case may be. And it's not hard at all. It's not hard at all. Does it take some practice? Yeah, a little bit of practice. And the great thing about this stuff, it's super flat. There's no hardened surface on it. There's no gloss. Okay, that's where your hard surface comes from on the satin and semi-gloss and so forth. Which I think the satin's pretty. It seals better than this ultra flat, but it's not as shiny as the semi or the satin or the excuse me, semi gloss or high gloss. The semi gloss and the high gloss have also a clear coat, and it hardens up a lot harder, and it's smooth to the touch. And this here is really rough to the touch. I mean, as far as paint compared to the original finish, which is very slick. This here is, you know, it's almost like it's got a texture. Excuse me. But the primary camouflage colors You can buy it at Wally World. I'm not recommending Wally World because they're on our crap list, but you can go to any hunting supply store, I would imagine, and buy these. And I'll tell you what, they should have had a lighter brown, but they are, well, a mid grade between this and this. That's too extreme. And so I got some primer, okay, and a couple of different versions of that, okay, and went from there. And it was a little too red, so I just sprinkled it basically like this, real quick, like this, to subdue it, knock it down some. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's all you need. Clean it, tape it, secure anything on it you don't want painted. Like, make sure you protect that muzzle, and then just work at it. And remember, you're trying to break up that long line, so you're wanting to do vertical or horizontal or angled lines on it in different alternating colors. But like I said, just where you're going to be working at, and just remember, it's not just the camouflage scheme you put on the rifle. You got to be able to adapt as you're moving along. Okay. Anywho, this is Mac Daddy 1911A1 with the Shade Tree Survivalist. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch y'all on the